Ever wonder about what witnesses do on Steemit? Curious to know what projects and initiatives are in production to make your time on Steemit more productive? This is the podcast for you. Your co-hosts, Andre and Shane, will talk about witnesses, what they do, what projects they have in development, and what concerns about the blockchain and Steemit.com they're focused on. They'll also invite the men and women who run witness nodes onto the show to discuss their roles, responsibilities, and goals. Welcome to The State of the Witness. Steemit Incorporated, the writer's block, and their respective owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests. Statements and show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the writer's block or of Steemit Incorporated. The material on the State of the Witness webcast is provided for educational and informational purposes only. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the State of the Witness. This is going to be episode number 8 for us. As always, I am Anarcho Andre. I am a Steemit Witness. I am a writer, and I also occasionally go to law school sometimes. Usually I'm a failure. But I am also joined by my wonderful co-host, Shane. Shane, say hi to everybody.
Hey, guys. Hey, it looks like we already have a crew laying up here. This is nice to see.
It is nice to see. It's nice when we have a lot of people on.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm a witness, too. Did you guys know this? Bet you didn't. But I am.
No way.
Andre. What's
up?
new this week, man? What's new?
Let me see. Not a whole lot. My daughter is 4, so that's fun. She's hit 4 years old now. I can't believe she's actually 4 years old. We had her birthday party Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? Was it 26th? I think Tuesday was the 26th, right?
Yes.
So we had her 4-year-old party, and she got plenty of gifts. She got to dress up like a princess. She had very rich and filling cake, which I only got to enjoy a portion of because I was suffering from listeria for like the last week and a half, last week, ever since I got back. So that was nice. But yeah, that's pretty much the thing that's been new with me. Oh, I got a Samsung Gear S2.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, how is it?
I got a smartwatch. It's freaking cool. It's
Yeah?
it's a little bit of a learning curve because things don't operate the way you kind of expect them to, but it's not bad. It's really neat, I gotta say.
You know, a couple years ago when Asaria and I were dating and I was flying to New York to see her, I bought a Pebble smartwatch out of a vending machine at the airport. And it was black and white, real basic. And I don't know. I mean, I assume they've increased quite a bit in quality and features since I bought that, but I need to hook that thing up and see if I can get it working with my Galaxy S8.
Honestly, I think Pebble phones are actually pretty neat. I mean, they're no frills. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty bare bones and basic, but all in all, they do a fair amount of stuff, and the interface is really nice. Plus, the other nice thing about it being black and white and not taking up a whole lot of having like a full color screen and all that is the battery lasts longer.
Oh yeah, the battery is a champ on it. It was just I just couldn't help myself. I saw that and it was a vending machine. A vending machine. I have to do this, so I did.
That's the other cool thing. Airports have vending machines for electronics.
Yeah. That made me so happy. So Sunravel Me is asking how you got listeria.
Well, as it so happens, I have the unfortunate habit of eating lunch meat a week after I've purchased it, up to a week after I've purchased it, which I'm coming to find out now is actually the wrong thing to do. I don't know. I've always done it my entire life. I've never had an issue with it, but apparently that opens the door to listeria growing in the meat, and then when you eat it, you get listeria bacteria in your gut. And then you are, you're just crapping your pants out.
So
like a
you
week.
know what that half off lunch meat, man, you just got to let it go sometimes.
It
Just
was
not-
Oscar Mayer, and it was fresh. I checked the date. It was the farthest Best Buy date I could find.
Huh, I've never had that happen.
Well, neither have
That's,
I until now. So here we are.
So what was it? Salami, bologna, what was it?
It was actually pastrami.
Ah, there's your problem. Never get pastrami.
Dude, pastrami's
You
delicious.
gotta have fresh pastrami.
Yeah, I know. But I never get fresh meats. Although, to be fair, from here on out, I'm probably just going to go
get meat from the deli and then only eat it up to like 3 days out, and then I'll just buy some more. I don't have to buy, a whole lot because it's only 3 days, so it's going to save me a little bit of money, I think.
My favorite sandwich used to be bologna with potato chips on it.
Oh, hell yes.
Oh,
That's awesome.
you put the potato chips on there, and you get the crunchiness and the salty on it. Oh yeah, that's the way you do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Harder.
Oh, that's the way you do it. You just put some potato chips on there, and you squish them down, you crush them, and you got yourself a good sandwich. I'm telling you, a good
Oh,
sandwich.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a great sandwich, eh?
That's the way you do it.
Oh, speaking of which, I was doing that. I was doing that exact accent, the Canadian accent, and I was doing it at my girlfriend before I left and came back down here, and it was driving her nuts. So it's just something I'm going to put in my back pocket for later.
Does she ever smack you when that happens, or
No. She managed to control herself, but I could see it starting to rise in her. Like she was still laughing, but you could see that look in her eyes, like I'm laughing, but I'm not having a good time.
you've angered the redhead. She's in there in chat, and she's not happy with your accent, man.
Well, I mean, granted, what I was doing this time, Crimson, wasn't Canadian, but I was definitely doing Canadian earlier. No, before it was Boston. It's Boston.
Boston. Go down and get your car at Boston Park.
Don't park your car in the yard.
Oh. So what's been happening besides that? You got Listeria. You had yourself a little Merry Christmas. You had your daughter's birthday. Wow, you've had a busy week.
Yeah, this week was a lot. This week was a lot. So it was pretty heavy. My witness servers are up and running. They're running well. So still good on that front. I picked up a few more votes, so I'm at 111, I think, last I checked. So I've picked up 11 more votes for my witness, which is great. Hasn't really bumped me up in the rankings too much, but it's always nice when people put their votes behind you.
Yeah, I've been flipping back and forth between 89 and 90. I was up there and I lost another vote. Apparently, I was voting for the wrong person, and someone unvoted me, and I lost about 80 MV due to that. I wish I would have known. I would have dropped that other person in a heartbeat.
Ooh, savage.
Yeah, very much so. You know what I am happy about now?
What?
This Ripple price. Are you paying attention to this?
What is it? What is it at now? Because last I heard it was at like 160.
Right now on Bittrex, it's at 205.
Woo! Hot damn! I bought in at 90 cents, and even that was high.
Nice. Look at you. Look at you making things happen and getting things done.
Kinda, sort of, maybe a little bit. Probably
Oh.
not.
John the Writer wants to know, wait, we can vote? Sure,
Yes.
you can vote for witnesses. You've got 30 witness votes to hand out. They cost you nothing, and you can change them at any time. Act now, and you also get a Shane 101, Swelker 101, and an Arco Andre.
That's right. And if you vote in the next 5 minutes, we'll even throw in a T-shirt, absolutely free. $19.95 value, absolutely free.
And a Crimson. No, you want to vote for follow BTC News to make sure that Crimson gets her little witness update.
Yes. Follow BTC
sorry.
News, Anarcho Andre, S. Welker 101. Who else?
And Dracos. I put
always
Dracos in there every single time.
Dracos, GTG, the Marky Mark. I don't know. I have to look at my list. There's like so many people you need to vote for. There are easily 30 people that you can vote for. Guilty parties, yes.
I don't
Team
know
Steam,
Guilty
Tim
Party.
Cliff. I know him.
You
He's a good friend of mine. Yes, and Sir Quark. He's a good friend of mine. He actually talked to me and came to me to start the Veterans Project initiative that he has going, where he highlights veterans posts on Steemit. Here, let me find a link to that in particular, because I'm sure he's made a weekly post. But I'll find a link towards it. Yes, he's a Canadian veteran. I believe he was he a medic? Shadows? Was he the medic, or now I can't remember. Been all turned around like for the last 2 weeks. I want to say he was the medic.
Well, here's the deal. I have unvoted Bernie, and I'm now voting guilty parties, right?
There you go. All right. I'm gonna have to give him a shout out at some point and go to the duty hut and let him know.
And there it is. It is official.
Oh my God!
Look
You
at
didn't vote
me.
for Bernie. What the hell is going on? Shit's about to go
Look at
south.
me.
He's going to flag the
Look-
shit out of you.
Look at me. I'm throwing out 18 megavests left and right. Woo!
Hell yeah. See, that's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on like the people that vote for me over time as they like interact more on the platform, their vests will increase. So eventually, I'll slowly inch my way up the ranks. That's why it pays to have a lot of votes behind you.
Yeah. You are up to, I see 111. Let me see. I'm up to 213. Hey,
Good for you.
213. I can't sneeze.
Good for you.
And
I think I have one person proxying me too, which is kind of cool.
yeah, that feels good, doesn't it?
It sure does. I
See
mean,
if we-
it's silly because it's one person proxying me, and really, whatever. But it's still nice when somebody's like, oh, okay, I can totally trust that guy to use, to distribute my votes how he sees fit.
Oh, Muxie's putting all the votes on Banfield.
Sweet.
Ooh.
That's
That
what I
is-
call. That's what
that
I
is
call a
wise
solid
thinking.
investment.
So, have you been able to pay attention to the platform this week?
Not a whole lot, to be honest with you, and I'm kind of upset about that. But what's going on with it? What can you gain to me?
Okay, so we had the whole Haitian situation last week with
The Haitian sensation.
and there was the Haitian sensation, and it was wrongly reported that he was taking 6% of the voting pool of the vests,
Yes, I recall that.
and is now about a little over one. It turned out to be about 1%, but that's turned into a mess. But there's another account out there. Oh, I had this up and now I can't find it. Lexiconical put out a post this week, and Lexiconical's a pretty sharp guy, but
He
he's
is.
pretty.
Doesn't he do the? He does the
he's-
writing for Jerry Banfield, doesn't he?
I don't know if he still does. I know he did at one time.
Well,
But
either way,
I-
that's the reason why Jerry's posts read as well as they did, pretty much because Lexi was the one who was writing them.
So, he put out a post this week that was pretty interesting. He's pretty fed up with the platform, especially when it comes to trying real hard, especially when you have accounts like, what was the name of that account?
I don't know, but I guarantee you there's going to be like another dozen of those in the next month that will do exactly the same thing. So it's the actual name of the account I don't think is really that important so much as it's a class of people. Check this out.
What am I checking?
No,
Yes,
I'm saying check this out was the
That's-
account, right?
Yes, yeah, that's the account that.
Thank you,
took-
Negativer.
Thank you, sir. Boy, that was painful for me to remember.
It hurt me too, and I
Hold
didn't
on,
even
Andre.
know anything about it.
It's rough. Yeah, that Grumpy was voting the comments on. So Grumpy Cats. Turns out Grumpy Cat, I don't know, I think it's Bernie.
Probably Bernie. He's got plenty of socks.
So don't forget reward pool rape. Yes. There's some real pros. And reward pool rape was Bernie also. That one was
Yep.
obviously Bernie.
Yep, that's correct.
So with that information coming out, I had no problem dropping that witness. It's hard. It's hard for me to separate the good that he can do at times, but at a certain point, you become the problem that you're fighting against, and I think we've reached that line. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've held to that since Bernie started getting. I remember when Bernie got downvoted into oblivion, like last year. I can still say last year. It's still 2017. Last year in
Yeah.
I think it was like August. I'm sorry. It was like the end of August, beginning of September, somewhere around there. It was like maybe about like 3 weeks after I joined Steemit was when he got just hammered into oblivion, and he's still at -18 despite the fact that he has as much cloud on the platform as he does. So that should indicate to you what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Krim, are you available? You're here. You're listening. Are you available to chit chat for a bit? We're gonna see here because we don't have anything planned. We're just fly by the seats kind of guys.
Always. I find that makes the best shows.
It really does. It makes you think, doesn't it?
It's kind of like not writing down your recipes. You know, you just kind of memorize them or you do them by hand and you just kind of remember
I
how to do it.
solved that. I solved that by not cooking. I'm
Lame.
thinking. Yeah, jump on here, Krim. Let's discuss. We haven't seen any good apps lately from you guys, and I want to yell at you about that. Ah, why is she not prepared? I had this vision that she sat around with the headphones on, just ready to be, to jump on the radio. Or is that Kubi?
Well, that's probably you mean Cubby?
No. I meant Kubi.
Oh, okay. So you're the one that gets to call her that. Okay, I got it.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Ah, that's true. Maybe she was eating a peanut butter sandwich. Yeah, we'll ask her. So yeah, as far as witness goes, it's not really. Sorry, Greg. Yeah, as far as witness goes, it's a pretty boring week. I mean, everything is running smooth. Like I said, I added the seed node last week, and not really much to report.
Yeah, same here. It's more of the same. Like we've said before on the show. I mean, the actual upkeep of the witness is not particularly difficult. I mean, obviously you have to be prepared if something happens or something goes down. But when everything is running the way it should be, you're actually free to do quite a bit of things.
Yeah, we need to change that so we can make it sound like we're a heck of a lot busier than we are.
All right, how about that?
Hey, there she is.
Hello.
So Krim, I want to ask you something.
Okay.
You guys were releasing apps like crazy, and I haven't seen one in a while. And what's going on?
Jeff got deathly ill for almost 2 weeks. So he's kind of been out of commission, and I've been taking some other jobs on the side. Oh, am I a little quiet? Sorry, guys, I'm on my phone, so I don't know that I can fix it. Somebody would have to.
I got you.
Yeah, Andrei should be able to.
Yeah, so he got really deathly ill, and honestly, with the holidays, we weren't just going to develop right after he came back. So we've got some stuff that we want to do starting in the next week or so. But truthfully, lazy motherfuckers right now. Let us have New Year's.
No. No. I'm not buying the laziness.
What are you releasing?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I'm just releasing my personality all over.
Goodwill towards men and peace on earth.
Only towards men?
Just wherever it goes.
Are we going to have that conversation? Is that where this is going?
If a little lands on men, that's fine too. It just goes wherever it goes.
I'm okay with it for wherever it may land. That's fine. But yeah, so we do, we have so much stuff to do. We want to finish up the main page of Steamistry. We want to get a couple more apps on there, and then we want to pick up on a big project. But yeah, Jeff was just so sick. Oh God, it was awful. I felt so bad for him.
Is he feeling better now?
Yeah, he, I would say he got back into commission. Gosh, it would have been maybe three or 4 days ago, where he actually was back and able to speak and be on Discord. If anybody was watching even Steam It Chat, normally he's in Steam It Chat all day, every day, helping people. And I'm in Discord and he'll be in Discord. Honestly, he was out. He was so sick, and he was going to the doctor every couple days. So it was one of those things where I'm very glad to be a long distance business partner. Sure. Keep your plague over there, sir.
Oh, it's that Alabama plague. Andrei, yeah. Maybe that's what you got.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was out of commission for about a week, so there it is.
The poopy plague.
It's
poopy
Alabama.
Plague. It's poopy all over.
It is.
Hey,
Merodian. Walls.
Hey, Merodian. She's talking about Jeff. It's also known as Follow BTC News. He is Crimson's partner in witnessing.
Yeah, so just for anybody listening, I call him Jeff all the time. I'm not doxing him. He introduced himself the first day we started witnessing. He was just like, well, I suck at responding to my screen name, so I'm Jeff. Here you go. So he is Jeff. I'm not ruining his secret identity. But yeah, it's follow BTC News. So his account is the witness is under his account, and that leaves me to be able to post my art and my stories and my photography under mine. And then whenever I need to yell at him for something, then his account is the one that needs to take all the flack. Right? Right.
And you know us men, it's basically a guarantee that you're going to be yelling at us for something. So
Yeah. Yes. How apropos.
Who is yelling right now, Shane?
Me. I was.
Yeah.
It was me.
But see, now here, Moro's saying, oh, she's not too hoity-toity rubbing elbows with all the witnesses. But Jeff is Jeff. You can call him that if you ever want to speak with him. And honestly, like, you have Shane, you have Andre, you have me, you have anybody you want to talk to. We are witnesses that are accessible. That's the whole shtick. That's the whole point of this show. That's the whole point of us being witnesses, is we'd like to see it be a little more friendly and a little more like, hey, I have a question. I'm not terrified to go talk to a witness. If you're going to vote for us, then you should absolutely keep us accountable. So, you're welcome to drop into anybody's inbox and ask us about what's going on.
you know what?
And then call Jeff.
That's right. Call Jeff. That reminds me of something. There was a. I'm sure you remember this, Crimson. I know Shane does. There was a post. I want to say 2.5, 3 weeks ago. It was like a sort of like it was a questionnaire type thing where it's like ask the witnesses questions and they respond.
Yes.
Yeah, that irked me. So okay, so as a preface, what Crimson is saying is 100% correct. We are available in a number of different places. You can get a hold of us any number of different ways. However, to make a post where you're going to ask witnesses questions and then tag a whole bunch of witnesses, first of all, it assumes that the tags are going to notify the people that are being tagged, which is not always the case. And number two, if that's going to be your basis for whether or not witnesses are responsive, you're selling yourself short severely. That was my issue with it. I understood the reasoning behind it, and I didn't have a problem with that on its own. But trying to put it out that if you don't respond to it, somehow you're not a responsive witness that's juvenile. I really thought that was kind of ridiculous.
For sure. And I mean, I'm in that group as well. And I understand the idea behind that group and even the idea behind that post. I think it really was sort of the delivery. And I don't think it was intentional, but it did, unfortunately, it stirred up a lot of conversation. And it had some people taking the negativity of the original statement, which was, I'm going to see who answers. And if they don't answer, they don't care, which is not wrong. I understand. If I ask you a question, Andre or Shane, and then you ignore me when I ask it, yes, I'm going to assume you don't care. But the reality is this is not a face-to-face conversation. And all of us want to answer the questions that are asked of us. But I think we all know that Steemit has some serious issues in terms of direct communication. And yeah, lots of us, I mean, we've built a tool. I check my mentions, as often as I can and try to get to all the posts. I can't do GinaBot. I know everybody loves GinaBot, but she's like my creepy, like Matrix doppelganger. And B, it's too much. It's way too many notifications. I cannot calm her the fuck down. But yeah, so I mean, I check my mentions as much as I can, but if I missed, even a day or I missed this one mention, is that a reason for somebody to say, well, you're a terrible witness? No. And I think the question process and everything that was being brought up there is on point. It's something that people need to think about, but I totally agree with you in that saying you didn't answer my random post where I tagged 100 people and asked a very simple question referring to the white paper. That's it. You must be terrible. And in your case, they actually missed tagging Andre.
Yeah, I was about to say they tagged the top 100. I'm like, I'm in the top 100 and my name's not there. So clearly this is possible and this can happen. So,
Yeah. And I mean, so that's the idea of having a Discord, especially centered around witnesses. But of course, the other thing is everybody believes different things about what is valuable to this platform. So it's very difficult to put together a server that says, here are the good witnesses, because you also don't want to start making choices for the people on the platform. I mean, it's just like anything else. You don't want to railroad votes. And yes, a lot of this is selling yourself and marketing and all this other good shit. But the reality is I don't want to create a server that's an echo chamber that says, here are the 30 witnesses that are the best witnesses. Join this server. We promise we're the best. And then have everybody vote for that. That's not what moves this platform forward. So, I mean, the idea is coming into the new year, how do we get more people engaged with the witnesses? How do we explain to people sort of how to choose their own issues of what they look for in a witness? Because I think there is a really sort of general consensus what makes a good witness, wouldn't you say? That everybody kind of has a kind of an idea of what makes it good. I would,
Yeah,
like across the board.
yeah, I don't
Some
know.
general traits.
Some general traits. You keep your server up and running. You keep it up to date. Those are the basics of basics. And then from there, it's if they're working on projects that you agree with, and I guess in general, not a dick.
Yeah. Well,
Responsive.
Christ, I mean, honestly.
Pretty much. Responsiveness has always been big on my list. I mean, there's witnesses I'll vote for who really aren't really around that much in chat or on Discord. But I recognize their work product and I recognize how much they do, so I don't mind voting for them in that respect because they do put out a ton of work. They're just not socially involved. But like for example, Dracos, Jeff, you, Shane, you guys are out there all the time. You guys communicate with everybody. You guys don't ever turn away a question, and I think that's really important because if you're supposed to be entrusted with maintaining the network, then it pays to be able to have some sort of insight as to who you are and have conversation with you, right? Because that's what it comes down to. Is like you're entrusting the people on the witness list that you vote for as, okay, these are the people that have my best interests as far as Steemit is concerned in mind. So there's no other way to do that except to be able to communicate with them.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm just throwing in, there is Steemit chat. Now, I personally, I avoid it like the plague.
I do too.
But
Don't feel bad.
That's kind of the OG hangout. And Jeff does that for our witness. Follow BCC News is always there. Dracos is always there. Tim Cliff is always there. Team Steam is there's lots of people who are there as well that are the same sort of, that are accessible through Steemit chat. And a lot of the, I guess, bigger names are there. It feels like sort of in the last year or so only that Discord has grown. And truthfully, as a new user, I went to Steemit chat first. It was the first thing I did. I did it before I made my intro post. I'm just like that. I like to kind of suss things out, test the waters. I went to Steemit chat. I lasted a day, and it wasn't like I was offended or anything else, but I was just like, man, people treat each other so shitty. Like, damn. And I don't know, like 3 days later, I joined Discord, I found PAL, and I've never gone back to Steemit chat. So, I mean,
not only that, but just the platform is not good. Steemit.chat is not a good chat platform. It's not. It's really not.
Chat, it's a pile of hot garbage.
Yes. It's terrible. I mean, number one, it eats up RAM the entire time you have it open, so it doesn't clear its buffer ever. I still don't understand why it does that. I have yet to use another program that does the same thing, and it's really annoying because it'll slow the shit out of your computer. And number two, the interface just it's not easy to navigate. It really isn't. Like to scroll through the rooms on the left-hand side where it's got your rooms and your private messages. Pray to God that you have a mouse that has a scroll wheel on it, because otherwise you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, there was a period in there, I think it was maybe July or August, where you couldn't log in for like a month.
Yep, I remember that.
Oh, yes.
It was impossible.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
how many times over an MSP did we see, hey, is Steemit chat up? Like, we don't know.
I don't know, because we're in Discord.
I don't know. We don't use it,
right
so
now.
I can't tell you.
So Krim, the other question I wanted to ask you was on this that account that checked this out, and then the Haitian situation from last week. What are your thoughts on all this? How do we fix this issue, which is giving Steemit a black eye a little bit?
Well, it's one of those things. I have two schools of thought on it. And my first one being, and of course, it will get me as a witness. In some cases, it will get me tarred and feathered, but I don't really care. Um, I believe that Dan had a very, very, very good idea to solve this problem, and he brought it up in 2016. And unfortunately, it never got pushed through. And I think there was a lot of pushback from some top witnesses at the time. And of course, because I'm on my phone and I'm on push to talk and I'm just not ready, I don't have the link, but I've dropped it in quite a few places. I believe quite fully that the vote negation that he suggested would honestly, I mean, at the time, I think Bernie was not happy with it because in some cases, really, really big whales didn't want to see it reduced to a yes no negation. And I think Bernie and some others were not super happy with it. I don't know. I wasn't there, but I know that seemed to be the general consensus was people didn't want this because it would essentially neuter a lot of big whales when it came to really powerful downvotes. But it's funny because if you look at it now, those could have stopped Hagen as well. You know, if that had come in, Bernie could have used that vote negation process to nullify Hagen or Rancho Alexa or whoever it was that they wanted to do. So I think that's one I really, really hope it's being talked about more now. The whispers are turning to talks, and I mean, it's a good idea. The reality is forget the money behind a lot of this. What if it was a simple yes/no vote? And if Andre and I stood toe to toe, and the only thing separating us was Andre had 20% more steam power than me. Well, if he's going to say, no, I want to flag this post and use, all his steam power to muscle me out, then I'm going to say, okay, well, yes, I do. And therefore, we just cancel each other out. That was the idea, was that a direct negation. It's not about steam power. It's not about anything like that. And that's a very, very, very basic explanation of it. I'm hoping maybe somebody can go find the link and drop it in chat. Shadows Pub, do you have it handy anywhere? See if she can drop it for us. In any case, I think that would honestly, I think it should be looked at. And I know that there will definitely be people with lots of steam power who will not agree, but so be it. Shadows, I dropped it in your Pimp Your Post Thursday text chat the other night. Maybe you can check there. Like, look for mention my name and then has link, and I bet you can find it on your server. So yeah, but I do also understand that Rancho Alexo, Hagen, all of these things. Yeah, some of the math has been a little bit wrong. And yeah, they represent a huge amount of money coming into the platform and increasing the investment in the platform. So I do understand slightly where people are saying, well, we also don't want to scare these people away. It's a distribution problem. We always come back to distribution problems, don't we? I mean,
yeah,
it really is it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Must be nice to have a $400,000 to pump into Steam, though. Feels good, man.
Oh,
I wish.
It's a good.
I wish.
It's a good gig if you can get it.
If only.
Yeah.
I missed my chance.
I mean, I think what we're seeing, though, if you look at it, is a lot of the other big players are off the board. And I think that also comes into effect here because a lot of the other big votes that would normally jump in because of the whole price of SBD and everything else and the price of Steam going up, and vote selling has kind of gone a bit gauche, but lending out Steam power, these loans, these paid loans, that's been freedom, block trades. Everybody's doing delegations for money now. They're tapped out. A lot of the big players that would sometimes jump in and have tempering votes and would have ways of sort of balancing either side of the equation, they're not on the playing field right now, which I think also contributes to the whole thing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because if you have a person with a lot of steam power vested in the platform and they've lent it all out, it's all delegated, they're really not going to be able to have much of an impact.
They're totally neutered. So it's an interesting thing because normally you've got this sort of, I don't know, like you've got a Cold War almost, which is not how a platform should be kept in check, but it did work. And so now we're being contemplate these issues. So I don't know. It's the natural process of things. Can we expect SBD to stay this high? I know everybody wants it to, but personally, I don't think that's what you want to see happen anyways. There's a reason that SBD was created. I think it should come back down and Steam should be what's going up. But again, everybody sees it differently. It's what your goals are on the platform, how you hope to use the platform. But if you're in it for the long term, SBD should not be your focus. And
I agree.
because it's gone so through the roof, we're seeing just really crazy behavior and really weird responses, because that's what money does to people. Everyone is here to make money. Nobody came to this platform because, of only sharing. The idea of a little bit of recompense is part of it. And anybody that says that didn't factor into their mind is a little bit of a liar. Not saying, okay, I came here to make a regular salary, but the idea is, okay, well, I know I'm going to make a little bit of crypto. That's super cool. I'm into it. Ooh, it's also decentralized. Ooh, and you go from there. But I think behaviors have shifted so sharply with this rise in price. And unfortunately, I wasn't here the first time Steam hit $4. And I wasn't here when it crashed to 10 cents. And if it happens again, I will be really, really interested to see if history repeats itself.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I'm kind
sure
of curious to see if it does crash, which I really don't think it will. It would take some really catastrophic thing to bring it down from where it was around 90 cents earlier this year back down to, like 10 cents. I mean, if it does, I'm going to take out a loan and just buy in. But I don't see that happening. But if it did, I would be very, very interested to see what happens and see where all of these accounts go and who stays and who kind of plods along and then who just decides to call it a day and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I see Shadows Pub actually did drop that Git pull issue into the Writer's Block chat. So anybody that's here that's interested in it, you can open it and look at it later. But this, to me, is the bare bones of something that could really, really help, because flagging is so contentious, opinion flagging especially, and the idea of reward pool balancing and taking that on yourself and your personal opinions. And, does it come down to, well, I kind of don't like Andrei, so I'm going to judge him against a slightly different curve than Shane. And so if Andrei makes a little more money, I'm going to take it rather than take it. You know what I mean?
I'm in favor of that. I'm in favor of this.
Reap what you sow, Shane.
Whoa. We discussed the other night on how you're pretty much wrong on everything. And this is just another example.
Okay. Who do we blame again when things go wrong? It's not me, I promise.
I gladly take the blame on stuff. But you're the one that's always wrong.
And it's your fault.
Wait. If Andrei says we need to blame Shane, but Andrei is always wrong.
Yeah, don't think about it too long. You'll end up... Yeah, you'll end up on the floor just in some sort of seizure.
Convulsing.
It just doesn't work very well. So what's your solution? I mean, you said you had two schools of thought. So you had the Dan, and what's your other school of thought on this, Grim?
Well, my other school of thought was simply that I understand why people are saying, well, hey, these large investors should be allowed to do this. I don't agree with it. Like, I don't think they should be allowed to do it, but I understand why we need people like Rancho Alexo, why we need people, who think, who think kind of like Bernie or kind of like Transisto. I don't like the delivery of a lot of their actions. And unfortunately, a lot of it has become really unhinged. But up to this point, you could look at some of the actions that have been happening and see as, okay, if I was somebody who brought my money to this platform and simply bought in, I could see where this behavior comes from. And I understand those people because we want more of those people. Wanting an investment in a platform to grow, we need those types of people to come along and say, hey, everything you're doing here has value. Therefore, let me open my wallet and buy in because I see it. And you can't expect those people to not have an interest in what's happening to their money. Now, the problem is a lot of the behavior has now gone completely off the wall. It's penduluming from, well, I'm going to defend the reward pool to I'm going to rape it to I'm going to sell my vote to I'm going to flag anybody selling the vote. So unfortunately, that's no longer really been super consistent or understandable. But in terms of our investors, we have to look at what they're saying and what they're doing as almost like a temperature gauge for how the platform is going to expand, because there can't only be content creators coming and no investments either, right? I mean,
Yeah,
the
of
idea
course.
is value needs to be brought into this platform. And as much as I love the idea of people in Indonesia or Dubai or South Africa or, bumfuck Canada or wherever they're coming from, posting and taking money out of the platform, there has to be a belief in this system and money coming into the system and the token having value. And that is where your investors come in, right? We have some problems with our behavior in that sphere currently.
And I think you're right.
So-
I think a lot of it has to do with the increase in price. Well, either that or because I mean, Bernie's kind of just been off doing his own thing ever since he came here, and he kind of oscillates from one extreme to the other. So some of them I think are just gonna be that way regardless of what happens. Personally, I think Bernie just sensationalizes most of what he does. I don't think I don't think he has like a consistent or coherent philosophy there. Whatever the big thing is, he'll just take the side that garners him the most attention. I suspect. I could be wrong. I don't have any insight into his mind, but that's what it seems like anyway.
No, I think you're spot on there. Whatever is the flavor of the month, that's what's happening. So Shadow's Pub, Graven makes an interesting point when he talks about incentivizing people who just want to read. So, on here we need producers, but we also need consumers. So how do you incentivize consumers on here?
Is good content enough? I mean, right now, and this argument happens all the time, is we don't have an effective way outside of manual curation, which takes a lot of work. We don't have a great way to say, I know that Graven is super into pinball, so I want to pull all these super good quality posts about that. And I know that Kermie is into metal. And I know that whatever the case may be, it's really hard sometimes to find quality on here. So if somebody was coming as a consumer, do you feel like when they hit the front page or any of the lists, do you think they would find enough content there to make them come back and be like, yes?
Wow.
Because I don't.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I agree. I'm with you on that one.
Well, see, when I first joined the platform, which was in May, I was convinced that the entire platform was about cryptocurrency. And that was pretty much all I was going to find on here. Turns out, after a little bit of digging, that's not necessarily the case. But on first glance, that was my impression. And I'm like, I don't know if this is for me. I mean, I dipped my toes at one point, but now I'm not really into it all that much. And I'm sure you come to the front page and see what's trending, and you're like, I'm not sure this platform's for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And honestly, I'm with Sun, I'm with Shadows Pub, I'm with most people. Trending now, it's not actually about crypto a lot of the time. It's about the same 3 or 4 people plus, whomever got a really great bid bot vote. And quality, unfortunately, it's not even that quality is lacking, but unfortunately, the day to day, you've got people who are making so much money on the same type of posts. They become formulaic and this is a job for them. The trending page is supposed to be, new, interesting, wide, diverse sets of content. But what you have is the same people every day because they have big votes, they have auto votes, they have trails, they pay for it, whatever the case may be. The page is so fucking homogenous. It's out of control. And for me, what I think is content in terms of a post, it's a personal thing, right? We're talking about saltiness in chat. Yes, very salty. It's a personal thing. And what I see as quality doesn't just have to do with the actual writing, it also has to do with the content. And right now, you just can't find what you want, especially if you're a little more niche than, say, a travel post or a crypto post.
Here's a thought.
Yeah.
What if, as part of the new account sign up, it actually gives you, it takes like, I don't know, like 20 different tags, right? Not general tags, but like 20 different tags, art, life, writing, fiction, whatever, and allows you to highlight, say, 5 of them when you sign up, and then it populates your page with those posts. So the trending page then doesn't become like just a standard trending page. It's a user-oriented trending page. Does that make sense?
Yeah, a personalized trending page.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of sites do that. A lot of sites do that. So I don't. Has it crossed anybody's mind before? I'm sure it has. I know I can't be the first person that came up with this idea.
No, and I mean, for me, I think of always something like Flipboard or whatever, because that's exactly what happens. You sign up and Flipboard says, hey, tell me about 5 things you like. And then it builds you a custom magazine, for lack of a better term. And it's a little more visual, it's a little more engaging, and it feels a little more personal. And yeah, I love Flipboard as well. I mean, I don't actually even read a lot of those articles since I've been on Steemit, but I enjoy that interface and I enjoy that easy customizability. I enjoy the way that you can find things, see them, move them around, manipulate them. It does feel like you're thumbing through content versus sludging through this horrible like morass of shit posts or
just a
27 posts
shotgun
from the
blast
same
of
person.
everything right in front of you with no correlation to anything.
Yeah. I mean, new is terrifying.
Tag abuse. Muxie brings up a good point. Yep.
Good point.
There's always way. Yeah, tag abuse will do that. But yeah, tag abuse. But if you combine with a little bit of strategic downvoting, you may not want to use the wrong tags. I don't know. I'm thinking this out loud as these are thoughts fleeting through my head as I'm hitting the talk button.
So Shadows Pub has just asked whether or not our sort of rudimentary web design is limitations due to the blockchain. No, not at all. The blockchain is simply pure data. We can structure that. We can pull it in bits and pieces. We can change it, make it look any fucking way you desire. It hasn't been a priority up to this point. So we did get that pretty little neon green update. And some things have happened that have been good, but honestly, no, there's no limitations. It's simply somebody hasn't taken it on yet.
That is 100% correct. And it's well beyond time where this should be made a priority.
Yeah, every site you go to is kind of welcoming, has a little step-by-step what to do. This basically looks like someone just took a quick HTML course and threw it up.
It looks like a basic WordPress site. It really does. I mean, obviously, there are some different levels of functionality there, and there's some stuff there, and I appreciate what is there, but it's very bare bones. I mean, for this to be a professional social media site, this is laughable. It really is, and it's been my consistent complaint for like the last year now.
Yeah, it's really tough because we're caught in this strange limbo of we are essentially handing people wallets, and people forget this. How many people don't use their keys properly?
Yeah.
So what I see is before we even look at, sort of a graphical interface or even the UI, there needs to be something more than the FAQ. And the fact that Discords are picking up the slack, the fact that people are posting and picking up the slack, like this needs to become something that Steemit Inc. really, really hammers out. Because saying, oh, well, what if we do too many instructions? It'll scare people away. Well, what will scare them away more, and we've seen it for God's sakes, is if they get on the platform, they don't understand what they're doing and they give up. So, I mean,
Yeah, and that
just,
happens way
just
more
the
often. That happens way
understanding.
more often than scaring people off because things are
Yep.
complicated.
Correct. And I mean, it just, even the littlest thing, just to teach people, like, okay, this looks a little different because what you're actually using is a wallet and an interface to the blockchain. Yes, this is the new social media, but remember, this is not, this is not just a website where you're pooping out posts. You are actually locking data into the chain, and you are also earning tokens and keeping them within an online wallet. This is currency. This needs to be treated a little differently. Now, I just looked into chat and immediately I see GMX. She said,
I said doo-doo earlier, so don't feel bad.
and oh, did he really? I read it in his voice in my head. So that's what made it so adorable. But I mean, yeah, looks are obviously very important. We're to the point where, yeah, this needs some serious overhaul in terms of looks. And absolutely, there are some huge glaring kind of holes in the way that we use this data. It's all at our fingertips. And when you look at the people posting who are pulling data from the chain through SQL kind of searches, if you even want to call it that, they're pulling really detailed, specific data. It's very cool. If you can do that, you can also skin it and make it look good. It's as simple as that. You have all of the data on the chain at your fingertips here. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, that's my big thing is this. It's not nearly as functional as it should be, and I understand, they're they're thinking of like, oh well, we don't want to overwhelm people when they're coming here. Most people are kind of new to crypto; they're not really going to understand a whole lot of this. Like, yeah, okay, but at least make it optional. At least provide us the tools to do it on the front end. I mean, most of us now, at least everybody here talking, me, you, and Shane, we have plenty of different ways to access the information that we want to get to, but it's all through third-party sites. I access almost no information through the Steemit front end because it doesn't provide me hardly anything that I actually want to have.
Right. I post through the front end, but I'm on SteamD. I'm on Steam database quite a bit. Anything I want to find out is through
Elsewhere.
separate channel. Yeah, exactly.
I will say that GoSteam, whether or not you want to actually use it, Moro had a good point. She was talking about having to browse through Resteems. If you simply want an easy way to browse and you don't want Resteems directly in the feed, or you want them on their own separate page, on GoSteam it is separated out. We've changed that.
Woohoo!
That was
All right.
like the very first thing. So if you browse only on GoSteam, because there's a beneficiary. It's 5% if you want to post through it. You don't have to. So, that's fine. That's up to you. But if you just want to browse, that was the very first thing that Dracos figured out how to do, was just get those fuckers out of the feed. So that's an option for you. Not that I'm trying to send you away from Steemit, but if that's a big issue for your browsing day to day, that may be an option for you.
So, Grim, what was that? 2 weeks ago or so, there was one of the members over at MSP that ended up with she had a break-in on her account, and NetUoso and Discordiant actually did quite a bit of work to get her straightened out. Now, I was only able to sort of half follow along. What was that? And it was amazing to me from what I was able to gather from reading through there, what they were able to figure out on the blockchain. Yet, like they said, we cannot get Resteem separated on the main condenser, but they were able to figure out how to go in and do all sorts of crazy stuff with her account. What was going on that day?
So essentially what happened is somebody very smart got a hold of her account. And so essentially what happened was he did not change any of her keys. And that causes a huge problem, because what that means, if you've ever looked at Steemit's key or account recovery, what it assumes is, okay, I'm going to be sneaky. I'm going to go to Moro there. I'm going to steal her account. I'm going to change her keys and lock her out. Because that, to me, that seems like a pretty logical way of stealing an account, correct? But what Steemit allows is, okay, if your keys have changed in the last 30 days, then we will look into it. We will check if it's been hijacked. We will help you recover your keys. That's very simple because, of course, that is broadcast to the chain. Anyone can see when you change your keys. It's a public transaction. The key is changed. So what happened is this guy got a hold of her account and he did not change her keys. So he began a power down and he installed an active permission on her account. So the power down, fine. That takes days. That's easy to stop. He took all the money out of her account, transferred it to himself. The liquid, yeah, okay, that's a huge problem. Can't get that back. That's a done deal. But this active permission is not something that you would see as a user when you were looking at your Steemit account. If you were to go to your wallet, you would not see that active permission. So what is an active permission? An active permission is when you grant your active key to a service to, post or make a transaction on your behalf. And so what happened was he put his active permission in as if he was like, let's say, Busy or Streamian or something like that. Where you make that allowance on your account and then it can do things for you. But you don't see that. If you're a Streamian user, you don't see that in your Steemit account when you go to your wallet. You don't see that anywhere on your actual steemit.com account. You can see it on the blockchain. You can see it on SteamD. You can see it wherever. So what she didn't realize is he had installed this active permission for his own account. So even though she stopped the power down, he could still come in at any time, restart the power down. He could still come in at any time and take the money out of her wallet. He could do all of that. But he didn't change her keys. So had she not noticed that money gone missing, or if he had not done a power down, he could have been slipping it out of her account continually. He could have kept coming back. So that's a huge, huge issue. And the problem in that case becomes normally when you interface in that way. Oh, thank you. Look at everybody's popping it in chat. So here's Shane has popped a screenshot in chat very helpfully, showing where your keys are being used. And so in most cases, it's your posting key that you are giving out to Streamian or to Busy or to whatever. And you can see it there attached to your account. So those are your permissions. Well, an active, I'm sure most of you know, active key is what allows you to make transactions in your wallet. He had a permission installed to his own account. So it would be like if you looked at Shane's account right now, under active, there would be a permission that said, well, Crimson Clad is permitted to use this key. And at that point, I could then go in and make transactions with an active key on behalf of Shane. And I could so very nicely go into his account and relieve him of all that heavy, heavy money that he has been carrying because I'm very kind with
Terribly
that key.
heavy. Terribly heavy.
So nice.
Yeah. Well, the problem becomes, how do you get rid of those permissions if you're not using a service like Streamian or like Busy or like whatever that has the ability to opt out? What the hell do you do? How do you stop it? Where do you go? Steemit doesn't tell you that. SteamD doesn't tell you that. Nothing tells you about that. And so it actually ended up, to wind up this long, long story, we couldn't. Disco and I were working for quite a while trying to help her get her keys reset, trying to get this guy off her account. And we ended up actually we were trying to treat a personal permission like revoking access to an app. But unfortunately, that wasn't working. So there had to be a whole bunch of queries, a bunch of code written, and Netuoso ended up writing some chunks of code, and Disco was firing it through, hoping to get this permission revoked, basically through wallet commands. Is that something the regular user could do on Steemit? Hell no.
Nope.
Not a chance.
So
that's not something I could do.
No, it was wild, and I haven't seen it since, thank God. And I hadn't seen it up to that point. It was very, very clever because he really didn't fuck with her account all that much. If she hadn't been paying attention, if she was somebody who moved, money around a lot or whatever the case may be, at any time he could have been sneaking a couple bucks out here and there. If he hadn't started a power down, I don't know that we would have ever noticed. And now that's a huge thing. And so this is kind of one of those warnings. If you ever wonder what's happening or something's going on in your account, you would want to pop over and you would want to go to Steam D or wherever. And just like you see there that Shane is clipped into chat, on the side, you have a list of your authorities. You should see maybe posting, because posting really can't hurt you. But if you ever see something change under your active key, or you see your keys change on Steam D, that's a huge, huge flag. And I guess come to us because we know how to help you with it. But honestly, I don't have a solution for that yet, truth be told. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, and do we know exactly how this happened? Was it a brute force attack? Did she give the key to someone?
There was a lot more people involved than Net and Disco and me. Actually, Clayboy was also really helping, and he actually went line by line through her account and her internet browsing history to see, was there a site that was suspect. Like, we looked at the times that she was. Honestly, she never gave out her key because she actually had it on paper, which made it very difficult for us when we were trying to help her with it because we were typing the damn thing in. Yeah, like, she did everything right. And we're not sure how it happened. So there you go. I mean, we saw it earlier. There was a Steam It post link that was going around for a while that obfuscated the end of the URL. So Steam It post was, a real thing, and it would truncate the URL, and you couldn't tell that it was going to a faux site. And so people were actually logging in and losing their keys that way. So there's always something. I'm with Andre. He's just typed into chat. If there's ever activity on your wallet that you don't recall making, assume the worst. Change your keys. Check on your Steam D profile page. Always look at your authorizations is basically all I can say. There's no way to be too cautious here.
I've got a question for you. So with regards to that, as far as the active permission goes, changing the keys wouldn't have reset the permissions?
It did not.
What?
It was wild. It was wild. I don't know. It was an active permission and it was installed, and we thought, okay, change the active key. That will wipe everything. It doesn't.
That's insane.
Wow.
That's a loophole that needs to be closed like yesterday.
Yeah, it was a huge mess. It was a huge mess. And it goes to show you that people are really clever and they will fuck you over if they can. So be careful.
Has anybody made a pull request to Steam It Inc. about that with regards to
I never actually followed up with Net, but I believe that he said something, because we actually, at one point, we were asking around, like, right up the chain, trying to figure out what the fuck this whole thing was. It was so confusing. Like, none of us had ever seen it before.
Okay, cool.
That's crazy.
That's
absolutely
insane.
Insanity.
I couldn't imagine how an active permission would persist even after you change the keys, because changing the keys, I would assume, should revoke any kind of authorization that was made prior, or at least that's what it would work, And
you would think in any logical fashion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No dice.
It's a crazy world out there, guys. It's a crazy world, and you got to protect yourselves.
So, Grim, what are you guys working on? You said you had like a big thing that you have in mind.
She's not going to tell us.
I know she's not, but I'm going to ask. A good reporter will always ask.
You tell us what you're working on. I'm talking a whole bunch. What are you guys working on?
Well, I'm working on trying to find out some information on your new big project. That's what I'm working on. I'm working on it presently.
Oh.
You guys are in the middle of this work.
I just, at this point, like, we're just trying to catch up. We're just, definitely between the holidays. And like I said, I felt so bad for Jeff, because here he is. He's like on his deathbed, and every couple of days I'm like, Jeff, we need to do blank. Hey, this thing needs tweaking. Hey, I'm sure he was just like mute. I'm sure he muted me. I'm sure of it.
No, I'm slowly getting Minnow University going. That's going a hell of a lot slower than I wanted it to. But it's coming together. We are getting people. We're getting more writers coming on board, and it's starting to come together. I mean, it's nothing. It's not nearly where I wanted it to be at this point, and I don't know. I'm kind of shocked by the lack of time I've actually spent on it, considering how much time I actually think about it. So that's what I'm currently working on, is getting Minnow University much better than what it is right now.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I don't. I actually don't have any active projects ahead of me. I mean, obviously, I'm doing this, and I got a couple other things that I'm doing, but I don't have anything big, and I don't have anything particularly useful. I think I already mentioned that the idea of offering free legal advice on Steemit, but that's not going to come into play for at least another couple of years until after I pass the bar and I'm actually a lawyer. So in the meantime, I don't really have too much going on. I'm sure I'll think of something.
You need yourself a project, sir.
Well,
I
I'm
think it's
sure I'll
nice
think
to
of
have a
something.
project. It's nice. It's not required. I think honestly, not being a shitheel of a witness is a really good start. Frankly, being active in communities is a really good start. Is it top 20 material? No. But is it, yes, you absolutely deserve to be in the top 100? Absolutely. And there you are. So don't stress. Don't push yourselves to like panic over it because you guys both have lots to offer.
Let's go over what I have to offer, Krim.
Okay. Are you expecting me to list things?
Yes, you said we have a lot. Now I want to hear what they are.
Well, you could bend my knees.
Okay, that puts me in the top
You
40.
give good hugs.
oh,
No.
oh, God.
Okay,
God.
no, but
Sorry, I
realistically,
have. Oh, no.
I can't believe you asked me. I can't believe you
No.
expected me to answer seriously, though. I mean, there was your
Of
first
course.
mistake.
Of course. I might be safe from my own list. You're dark, too, and I'd be safe from my own list.
Okay, but we talked about this. The big thing, and of course, everybody's priorities are different. But for me personally, community outreach, connecting people on Steemit with the communities that will best help them grow, very important. People being involved in those communities from the top down, from the bottom up, is also very important. And both of you guys are in multiple servers, you're around, you're accessible. And I think that's the biggest and most important thing going forward that we all need is accessible witnesses. And I don't mean like these poor wits at the top in the top 20 who are now at the beck and call of every goddamn minnow on the planet. But I think sort of breaking down that terrifying atmosphere around them, like I can't talk to them or else they'll, nuke me from orbit because that's the only way to be sure. And then my Steemit career will be over.
Yeah,
Well, I
and
mean,
that's what you're.
that's the purpose that we serve, outside of the top 20, or at least that's always been my impression. It's kind of like to distribute the load away from people that, arguably have more important things to do.
So there's one more thing we need to talk about, Krim.
All right, shoot.
There's a vicious rumor going on.
Mm.
There's a silly, vicious rumor that there may be a Florida trip in your future.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's not a rumor. Is it vicious? If me coming there is vicious, then I guess savage.
Savage.
Savage rumor.
Savage. Yeah, absolutely. I normally make a trip out to Montreal most years, and this year. God, what year is it? Where am I? How
We're
did I get here?
17 still. Yeah, we're still
17. Okay. I went back to Montreal and I used that as an excuse to meet Julia Ponsford and Bashmort and a bunch of other Steemians. Scaredy Cat Guide flew up from Florida to meet us in Montreal. So I'll just do both this year. So I heard a rumor that you were going to be in Florida.
Yeah, that's a vicious rumor that's floating around. I can't confirm nor deny it at this point.
Well, I think you should confirm it, and then I'll confirm, and then that'll be all confirmed, and it won't be vicious. It'll be like super awesome.
Yes, because I will come down to that, and I will get my girlfriend to come with me.
Will you do it?
Yes, we should all have a meetup.
We already talked about Sun would come. We already talked about Moro. Neg would be there. Cubby would be there. Scaredy would be there. Lexi would come. Like, let's do this.
Let's do it.
So are there any dates set? Does anyone know when?
No, you guys said March. I heard March. March works out very, very well for me. I'm a selfish bee, so let's do it in March.
March sounds good to me. Oh, yeah. So, and any locations? Because our thought was we were going to go see Asaria's parents, and they're in Port St. Lucie. but we wanted to stop in Orlando, either on the way down or on the way back, and spend a day at Universal Studios or something like that. So besides this, I don't know what's going on.
I have absolutely no plans. Let me put it this way. Okay, I think you guys all by now have seen that I am fairly pale and that I am slightly gingery, although I prefer the term daywalker. Thank you very much. And heat, I don't do so good with heat. So basically, I'm going to go to Florida and it's going to be too hot and I'm going to be miserable. And then I'm going to jump to Montreal and it's going to be fucking frigid and I'm going to be miserable. It sounds like a fantastic idea. Like it just like the worst misery in all ways, all at once.
Well, you live
Andre,
in Canada, so you should be used to that.
I live in Vancouver. I live in the most temperate part of Canada. It
Well, that's
never
like
gets too
but
hot.
that's like
It
saying you
never
live in the
gets
most
too
temperate part of the
cold.
North Pole. That doesn't count.
Oh, Lord Almighty. I guarantee you it's colder where you are, Andre, right now.
Probably not.
Really? What temperature is it there?
Outside, I want to say it was 56.
I don't know what that is. Stop using space numbers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Imperial numbers are not good enough for you. It's not like the
Well,
English
given that
invented
you
the
guys
damn
are the
thing,
only
isn't
ones
it?
on the you guys are the only ones on the planet
You
still
used it
using
for
them.
even longer than we did. You can't say anything
Stop,
about it.
stop being so precise, Andre. Give her a
I'm
vague
so
number.
sorry. Well, hang on. Let me pull up my calculator and I'll do some
Vagaries
conversions.
at best.
I don't. It's like
11 degrees right here, right now.
Okay, it's
what is-
13.33 is the conversion.
okay.
All
So
right, so
13.
basically it's the same temperature where you are that it is here.
Yeah, but like 2 degrees in Celsius is like 20 degrees in Fahrenheit. So
Oh.
doesn't count.
He's not wrong.
Okay, fine. In any case, Quebec, when I go to Montreal, when I went in March last year, I'm like, March, how bad can it be? It was negative
Fucking
28 and my
terrible.
eyeballs were trying to freeze shut.
That's what you get for
And that
going to
was it.
Quebec.
I know it was such a mistake, honestly, but I did get to I got to meet Julia and I got to meet Bashmore and I got to meet the rest of the Montreal crew and it was really, really excellent. But the rest of the trip was like, are you fucking kidding me? The air hurts my face here. Breathing is painful.
So, Andre, if SPD stays the price it is, let's just say for another 2 weeks, you post every day, and there's your ticket to Epcot right there.
Yeah, or there's like 3 more months of server hosting.
Or we
There's
just go to a bar, question mark?
I'm all for that. That's my thing. I'm all about that. I've got no problem with that. No one is going to Nova Scotia.
$200. If I'm going to spend $200, I'm going to drink it.
Yeah, there we go. 100%. 150%.
Actually, I am considering going to the Rock on that trip as well. I'm actually considering jumping out to see Bucky Turtle.
Oh, look at that.
I don't know what any of that is.
Bucky is a very, very entertaining Steamian.
Bucky is fucking phenomenal. He is one of my absolute favorite Steamians out there. And he's repping the Canada crew hard, as you guys all make fun of us. But yeah, I'm hoping to get out to Newfoundland to see him. We'll see. I don't know. It's going to happen. I just don't know when.
$30 for a solo cup of Bud?
What the hell are you guys talking about?
Beer?
At Epcot.
Is it U.S. beer? Bud? Blech.
No, that's
whatever. Be snooty.
Bud is an import now.
It's Donkey Diddle.
It's an import now.
Is it really?
Well, yeah, they were bought out by InBev, which is what are they? Are they Belgian?
Oh yeah, I think I remember reading about something like that.
Yeah, because I grew up in St. Louis, which was the world headquarters for Anheuser-Busch, and that city lives and breathes Anheuser-Busch products. So it they wouldn't even test market any new beers there because it was going to be an instant success, and they had no clue if it would actually spread around the world. So they never tested anything there. So we could go down to the brewery and do the tour and try all these beers that we never saw in St. Louis just because they wouldn't test market it there.
Neg, I see you're asking me what beer do I drink. I am super, super lucky, and I live kind of on the edge of the burbs, and I live very, very close to a small place we call Brewers Row, and we have a couple Brewers Row. But where I am, kind of right behind my place, there are 4 craft breweries in a row. So there is Twin Sails, there's Yellow Dog, there's Moody, and there is, oh God, what's the last one? Moody Ales, Twin Sails, Yellow Dog. Oh, and Parkside Brewery. So essentially, I can walk from my place for about 15 minutes. I can sit down and I can fill a growler at anywhere in like 4 breweries. And if I go in the other direction, there's another 2. There's Foamer's Folly and there's a couple other ones. So basically, yeah, I get smashed on like 8% craft beer all the time, rotating taps, really good, beautiful stuff. And it's always different. So yeah, I like to support local, and I like beer that actually has some alcohol in it.
I drink Coors Light when it comes to beer. I'm a liquor drinker. I don't drink beer. So
Hey, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do drink Bud Light if I'm just looking to get just drunk. It's cheap and it gets the job done. If I'm looking to sit down and chit chat and have a good time, that's when I'm going to grab myself a craft brew and enjoy it. So
Bourbon.
bourbon, huh? No,
whiskey,
I can't
Jameson, yeah.
do. No,
I'll do Jameson, but I prefer bourbon on the rocks. Yeah.
yeah. See, I'm still a vodka. I could never do whiskey. It just never did sit right with me.
I'm loving where this chat has devolved
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, life is too short to drink bad beer. So, oh,
Oh, I love this chat. When it gets going, man, it gets going. I love it. This has probably been our best chat room engagement for an episode ever.
Just mention alcohol.
yeah, alcohol, the cause and solution to all the world's problems.
I'm not gonna lie. I figured out the trick last night during my show. It was a very roundabout thing, but we may or may not have mentioned dildos. And wow, did chat light up.
Rubber
And it went
penis.
on 5 hours. My show went on. I went long last night. We had a good time. We all
Yeah, you
got
did.
very, very, very intoxicated. How do you know? You weren't there.
Oh, you were talking about dildos though, right?
We were.
Dildos,
and
long.
then it
Come on, the
Not-
jokes write themselves.
there are some rude things going by in chat. In any case, it really, the day that you hear like Team Steam making dildo jokes, oh my gosh, my life was complete. Like, actually, it was everything.
We've lost
Come
control of the
listen to
chat
my
room.
show sometime. Come listen to
Eggplants
my show sometime.
everywhere.
This is what I say. Mention dildos. Look at the engagement you're getting right now. It's so simple.
Wow,
Oh,
the beer and
man.
dildo show. This is
I'll be back every
Yeah,
week.
fuck witness chat. Beer and dildos, man. Nobody
Guys,
cares what
I'm-
witnesses do.
I am so sorry. I'm the reason we can't have nice things.
well, no, I
No,
think we
that's
got a
shame.
title. I think we have a title for the show:
What, beer and dildos?
beer and dildos. If it's
Done.
not that, I'm nice. We do have tomorrow's show sorted, Mutt.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you guys now. I would love to stay and chat, but this was unexpected, and my poor puppers need to go out. So I'm gonna borrow a term that gets used around here a lot. I must needs empty the woofers.
Okay.
She's gonna go see a man about a horse, guys.
Boro. Thank you, Negativer. I was going to say it, but you beat me to it.
You guys are okay. I don't have an accent.
You don't have an
Okay.
accent, right?
This
No
is a
accent
trap.
there.
This is a trap.
Well,
Sorry.
no, it's no trap. It's no trap. We're just
Oh.
talking about your accent.
I don't.
I know you don't. I know you don't. I'm not the
Oh.
one saying that. They are.
You don't have one at all.
Oh,
Hey,
Lord, love a duck. All right, then I'm out.
See ya, Crimson.
Thanks, Grim.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
You know, speaking of accents, when I first got down here to Texas, I was doing therapy with he was completely blind. And I'm talking to him and he's like, "Where are you from, boy?" I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, that accent, I can't quite place it. He goes, you ain't Yankee. He goes, but you ain't exactly Southern either. Where are you from? And, I told him, well, I just moved down here from St. Louis. He's like, almost Yankee. Not quite Southern. Yep, I spotted it.
You're too far west to be a Yankee, really.
Yeah,
Anything west of
yeah.
the Mississippi, the Yankee Confederate thing doesn't really apply all that much at all.
Yeah, except for, Missouri was the state that started in the South and then transferred to the North as the war went on.
Missouri swings both ways, going back to
Yes,
our
they
dildo
do.
talk.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Uh,
Jesus, we went way off the rails with that. That was good,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
I love talk. Every time Crimson comes on, it's just a great show.
yeah, she has a lot to offer, which is nice. Swingers,
Unlike you and
dildos, and
me.
beers. I know. What do we get? What do we offer?
Nothing really. I'm just patting the show until Rhonda comes on because she said she wanted to jump on.
Oh, is Rhonda going to jump on?
Yes, she said she was unloading groceries. So I don't know. Let's talk about servers and stuff. I'm taking cues from
Yeah,
Negative.
well, well, let's talk about servers and stuff. What I will tell you guys on the Shane and Muxie show tomorrow, I will be debuting a new commercial that a little bit mean spirited, but it's going to be there. I hope you guys listen. I hope you guys like it. Yeah.
Ooh, should we start doing commercials here for witnesses and stuff?
I suppose we could. Mine is my uh, my commercial tomorrow is sort of a dickheaded move on my part, but I'm going to do it anyway, just on principle. Yeah, sort of an airing of grievances. Yes. Hey, look who just popped in.
Late
chat.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Festivus for the rest of us. Hey, guess who's here?
Who?
Look in the chat.
Hey!
Yeah, Rhonda and Mux have already heard the commercial. I threw it together, and I'm like, what do you
Damn it, I
think?
want to hear it, and I don't want to wait for the show to hear it because I'm going to be at work, so I won't be able to listen.
I tell you what, send me a couple SBD, and I can make it happen.
Just a couple SBD, so not like the 50 it's going to require for me to sign up for a new account?
Right. I'm not going to charge you 50. I'm no Jerry Banfeld.
Oh,
Rhonda, are you jumping on? Is that what I understood?
get on the show.
That's what I was told.
That's what you told me.
Oh, Andre, you're just making things up.
I am not making things up. That was what was said to me verbatim. That was said to me. Those words were spoken verbatim.
How much longer are you going to be on? I have a loose goat at the moment.
Those are words that only Rhonda could say and
Only
be
here.
serious. Yes, send Glory after it. Make her earn her keep.
How do we go from beers and dildos to loose goats in a matter of minutes?
I don't know, but I have this image in my head of Glory riding a goat around like it's this war steed. She's got like a fence post in her hand and she's wielding it like a lance.
This is sometimes this chat is just way too much, isn't it?
It is. That's one of the things I like about this show, though. We go all directions. I mean, we talk about the stuff that actually does matter, but holy shit, Glory opened the door and let her out. I thought that was just a joke.
Oh, that's fantastic. Hot
damn. Those raccoons, man, trash pandas, I'm telling you. They're way too smart for their own good, and they have opposable thumbs. It's not a good combination of things.
I have a loose goat. Only here.
But you know what? I kind of like that. I like that we're that spontaneous and we can just kind of ramble on and talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. I mean, we do talk about witness stuff. That's every time we have Crimson on, that's every single conversation we have, pretty much without exception begins with, hey, this is an issue we were talking about, or hey, here's something that happened, or hey, here's something that people should probably know about. I mean, we do talk about the things that we intend to talk about, but I like that it's not so rigid. It's not so rigid, and it's not so thought out and planned out to where we can't have time to have fun. Because I do these things to have fun. I don't do them because there's some sort of work obligation. These are supposed to be fun, or at least that's how I look at it.
Right, and you can't take yourself too seriously with this. You have to be able to laugh. And if you're just giving information, people don't like that. It's dry, it's boring, it's kind of horseshit.
It's like all those posts that have a whole bunch of charts for crypto that are earning like hundreds of dollars a post.
Speaking of that, did you see Netuoso's post on this?
I have not. No. If you want to drop a link, by all means, I'll take a look at it.
Yeah, let me drop a link. Go ahead and chit chat. I'm going to grab Netuoso's post. This was brilliant.
I got to hand it to Netuoso. He, I don't have a whole lot of interaction with him, but man, oh man, that guy's sarcasm rivals my own. His wit it's on point. He's a great guy. He really is.
Dude's sharp as he can be.
Yeah, he's sharp as attack. He's sharp as attack.
Okay, now this was a few days ago. Let me see back. Let me go.
He took a lot of heat. What, from the Hagen cult members' shadows?
Oh yes, he did.
So what? There's a cult around Hagen now?
Oh yes, there is.
Oh Jesus, what have I missed? God Almighty, I really need to get back in and immersed. I feel like I'm just missing out on all of the stuff happening.
It's almost as if they're from College Station, Texas, because Texas A&M has a cult. Yeah, Texas A&M has a cult, and that's the only thing I can consider it. If anyone knows anything about college football, Texas A&M has a cult following down there. It's scary. I lived there for a while, and it's scarier than you can imagine, and this rivals it.
That's fucking terrifying. I live in Alabama, which I've mentioned a couple of times, and college football here is cultish.
Oh, yeah,
it's super cultish. Yes, yeah, so I mean, for those who don't live in a state where college football isn't, a really, really intense sort of cultural thing where it's just like ingrained in the culture. I mean, the world stops turning really when September hits and football season starts. So to kind of put it into perspective, that's really what it comes down to. Once Saturday college football comes on, nobody talks about anything else. That's really what it comes down to.
I cannot seem to find this post that he puts. It was only a few days ago.
I'll look for it. I'll look through for it. Can you just give me like the skinny on it?
Oh, here it is. I found it.
The Haitian sensation.
No, you've got to go in and take a look at his chart.
Oh my God!
You got to see the chart that he draws.
It'll either go up or down. Click here and find out.
Yeah, look at the chart that he draws.
Hang on, it's loading. I'm gonna take a look at it right now because I know this is just gonna be comedy gold.
Oh, it is. Oh, and he kept a decent payout from
that. Isn't it obvious?
Yeah.
The very trading follows a zigzag vertical pattern with an angling convergence. I know. Thanks, Captain Obvious. I love this. This is great. Oh, there's a penis drawn on it. Oh my God. Oh, this is fantastic. God, I love Netuoso. This guy he's a beast.
Yeah, that I saw that and I just laughed. I just laughed my ass off when I saw this one. So good.
Really, the black line is what makes it the peak influence emulsification dilation. That's really, I mean, anybody who knows anything about trading crypto knows what that means. And if you don't know what it means, you need to get on board. Okay, just plain advice. You should know what that means. If you don't know what it means, you need to get with it. Okay, you're missing out on huge opportunities.
Wang chart. The Wang indicator states this is going up.
And now the Wang chart is not the traditional method of charting out, the progression of cryptocurrencies and, finding out whether or not they're going to go up or down or boom or bust. But in recent times, and Nichuoso's chart kind of bears this out, it's been a fantastic tool for the crypto trader to use.
Jeez.
It's revolutionizing the paradigm, okay?
Oh man, a classic.
Revolutionizing the paradigm. Paradigm shift, synergy, crypto. Okay? You can quote me on that. Oh God! You know what? You asked Shadow asked if I was saying that with a straight face. I can do that for short periods of time. It's like sprinting. I can do that amount of short sarcasm for like short bursts, and then I can't do it anymore because I start laughing.
Oh, that's great stuff. So, but yeah, there is a cult around Haitian, and they are trying to get as much SP as possible to downvote anyone who may say anything bad about them. It's going to get ugly.
So okay, I can't remember who mentioned it earlier. So like, they just do whatever he says to do, or
yeah, you've got to go through some of these posts and just look at the followers he has, where these are people that have 25, maybe 27, and they're like, all right, all of my posts are going to Haitian. It's all the rewards they're trying to. It's scary. Yeah, they're hitting people for commenting. If they say anything wrong, it's a bad deal.
I think I'm gonna make a post and just say Haitian is shit. That's gonna be the entire post. I want to see what happens because this is fertile grounds for social experiments at this point.
Hey, Moro. There's so many of them. I would find it hard to believe that there's not more than one. It has to be, even if it's not a large group, it's at the minimum a small group of people. Yeah, he's giving a free service. Exactly. So, jeez, it's a mess.
Haitian and his
Like
mom.
Haitian.
Nice. No, that's you know what, I'm gonna do that after I get done posting last week's episode and making a witness update post. I'm just gonna make a post saying Haitian's crap, yada yada whatever, and yeah, I'll just see where it goes. I'm kind of curious and then I'll make a post tracking the progression, the evolution of that post, and see what happens.
There are over 500 who vote for him and only him.
Well, I don't know, because a buddy of mine, his name's Dave. His big thing is he runs like every social media platform that's out there. He's got like 300 accounts. He's got 300 alts, and he's got 300 alts on Steemit. So I don't know, maybe possible, but I still, for that number and for that amount of post engagement, I have a hard time thinking that it's all just alts. Because even if you automate most of that process, you're still gonna have to like come up with various different responses to where it's clearly they're not like just the same cookie cutter response every single time. So there's a lot of effort or something there.
Now, Pup, you bring up a good point there. That is a little bit strange. The whale backer is a good point. Pup is not convinced that the whale backer is not him or someone he's in collusion with. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The fact that the whale backer is downvoting people or upvoting people that have been downvoted because of whatever sort of tear they're on, it sort of smells of collusion.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And if there's any whale that is that heavily involved in something, my instinct is to say that it's just it's the same person, different account. But I mean, it could be another whale, and it could just be something else. But I'm more inclined to think that it's just Haitian is just another offshoot of that whale account.
Yeah. All right, goat problem is contained, everybody.
Curry.
Who got
Are
curry?
we having goat curry?
Nice.
I'm down.
I'm ready for some goat curry.
Goat is a safe word.
Goat is
Andrew.
a code word.
I am willing
Rhonda.
to try raccoon curry. So if you ever want to do that, Rhonda, if it ever gets to that point, I'm willing to come up and try some. I'll actually make the drive and I'll come up and try some. Just let me know ahead of time. I do not eat raccoon all the time. It's mostly possum.
Have you ever had possum?
No, I have not.
Are you telling me the truth here?
No, I am 100% telling you the truth because I would totally be willing to try it. I just never have had the opportunity to eat possum.
How do you not have the opportunity? You have roadkill all the time, don't you?
I am not going to scrape meat off of the side of the road. Like, we're not at that point yet. This isn't Mad Max.
Do you think it's something you could do at some point?
Yeah. I don't have any problem with it. If somebody wants to catch a possum, kill it, skin it, cook it, and prepare it, I'll eat it. I'm down.
Nice.
I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, let's go and catch one with a trap and throw it over a spit on a campfire and yeah, we'll call it a day. That's not my idea of eating it. No. Yes, if someone can make me some sandwich meat out of possum, I will definitely eat it.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Oh. That's just wrong. So, Rondo, what are you doing? Are you coming on or what?
I'm here if you can hear me.
Hey,
Oh.
we can hear you. We can totally hear you.
I'm a little out of breath.
You're
These
chasing a goat
mountains-
around the yard, I know.
Yeah, this mountain's rough on a fat old woman, let me tell you.
Well, you're not old. You're not that old.
Wow. That's Andre.
What?
No, he's fine. He's fine. There's no. We had wasn't it you we had this discussion with the other day that like I am a grandmother. It's okay.
Yes. Yes. And everybody keeps telling me, open my mouth, insert my foot. I'm saying things that are not even like can be reasonably construed as mean or mean-spirited.
Not to me anyway. I mean, I it is what it is. I was young once. That ship has sailed.
Muxie's a grandpa too.
Yeah, it happens to some of us, no matter what we do to prevent it.
Well, age comes for us all.
I find that amazing that he's a grandfather. What is he, 2-3 years older than me, and I have no kids whatsoever?
Yeah, what's your excuse?
Yeah, I'm shooting blanks.
Lame.
Huh? Yeah, I can't help it. So, Rhonda, what's going on in your neck of the woods besides goat chasing?
And raccoon curry.
Zombie, and I just tuned into that. Just trying to catch up is insane.
With the goats?
Not even the goats, just everything here on Discord and Steam It. I mean, this is like a train that just started slow, chug, chug, chug. And then when it gets going, it builds up momentum. And I'm telling you what, I cannot keep up. I grabbed a hold of one of the cars as it flew by, and now I'm flying out beside it like a flag, just trying to stay together. You know what I'm saying? It's busy.
Imagine what it was like more than a year ago when you could follow 40 people and you could actually keep up with 40 people. Like you could actually keep up and read and digest the information coming out of 40 people, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
It does not compute.
I can barely do 12 now. Shit.
I know. I mean, it's insane. On top of the rescue, which I've scaled way back on the rescue, but I mean, it's daily work when I'll wake up in the morning and check Discord on my phone, and there's 1,000 things going on that I need to be dealing with. And it doesn't matter what time, set your alarm earlier. No, this place is 24/7, balls to the wall. It does not stop. And so, I wake up and there's all kinds of stuff going on, and I'm running around trying to get all the chores done so I can get upstairs to my laptop. And I mean, it is just nonstop. But, it's good stuff. And that's the thing. you hit bumps, you have problems. But I told, oh my God, I don't even know how to say her name. Annika, how do you say her name?
Who? Which?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember who you're talking about. And Annika,
Annika, the
I think.
wonderful lady that has recently joined us. I mean, she is like, I mean, the more I get to know her, she is just awesome. And it's like I told her today, you know, you get one door slammed in your face and you turn around and that whole roll up deal in the garage bay with the sensors that lets your car in is coming up. And it's like now it's like it's like I said, an unstoppable train, this thing we have with the writer's block and Steam It and everything. And I just that's what I've been doing, is just trying to catch up.
So, is there any news or anything that you can tell people publicly at this point?
Yes, I'd actually like to. I'd like to discuss a little bit more about the writer's block because we didn't have a show this week, and I'll apologize for that one. But yeah, let's talk some more about it. What can you tell us?
Well, right now, Jordan, I hope you say his last name Lesich. If not, he'll eggplant me in general or something, and I'll take my licks.
Now
But
we've already had the dildo discussion. We don't need to talk about eggplants and licking.
okay, yeah, we're not going there. But anyway, he has this wonderful new initiative that this is all his brainchild. He thought of this. He sat and wrote out notes and dreamed it up and thought about it and thought about it. But it's called the Right Club. The Fight Club. It's a play on words there, because this is going to be pretty brutal for the participants, in that it's a no mercy kind of thing. You get it done or you don't. No credit for showing up. It's and what it is aimed at is preparing people for a career in publishing and a career in writing. And it's a dose of handling things. You get 16 weeks of intensive training, intensive workshopping, and there's not going to be one leader. There's going to be 8 people going through the group at each time, and each of those people gets 2 weeks to teach the class, and they can come up with any topic they want, prompt they want, whatever they want to focus on. And for that 2 weeks, they're the instructor, and they write. People have a certain amount of words that they have to write, and then they spend some time editing them, and it's very structured, and it does require commitment. And to me, I think it's genius. I mean, it's not a beginner class. This is not for beginning writers. I've been writing over 20 years and I feel intimidated, but I definitely want to do it. So we're super excited about it. We started a channel for it, made him a channel moderator, a channel editor, for that channel. And he's the boss. And I am really looking forward to seeing how this goes.
I am looking forward to it as well. If this keeps going through till the summer when I have a little bit more time, I am probably going to get involved when I have time during the summer. With school coming up, I don't think I'll be able to devote the kind of time I need to, but this is cool. This is really, really cool.
Well, this is advanced level stuff. This is professional level stuff. It's something that most writers never even get the opportunity to hear about, even secondhand, much less possibly participate in. And some other models exist. I don't know that much about it, but there is another group of people that do something like this, and they've gained a little prestige in the writing community. It's really interesting, and that just speaks to the caliber of what we have here at the Writer's Block. The other little bit of news is that Steamhouse Publishing, all we're waiting on now is the certificate of incorporation, because the paperwork is done, the articles of organization were done. Zombie looked them over, said they look fine for LLC the way we're going. And as soon as we get that back from the State Corporation Commission here in Virginia, we own a publishing house.
Look at that.
So I'm the CEO, right?
You don't have
We may
enough.
need one.
You don't have enough time. You don't have enough time. You said.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
look, no. I want to make something very clear here. If I made the CEO of a company, I'll make the time.
Well, I tell you what, here's kind of my goal. And I was thinking about, yeah, Zombie says we need a CEO we can blame. Yeah, Merodian, we know we do know they don't have CEOs,
I know.
but but I don't know. I guess what it is that I'm thinking to the future when we have to incorporate and have to have shares and have to, parcel all this out because we've grown so big that LLC doesn't cut it anymore. So I guess that's what I'm hoping for. Um, but what I was going to say is, um, I would love in my wildest dreams to see this be so successful and to make successful authors out of all of us, successful executives out of all of us, successful editors out of all of us, with cryptocurrency on the rise, that we could quit the day jobs full time for a living. That would be the best case scenario. And it's a real stretch to think that we'll ever get that far, but it's crypto changes everything. I mean, we're talking about a whole different ball game here. And we're talking about a ball game where $1 becomes exponential overnight. You wake up and one SBD is worth 14 SBD, which it's dropped since, but I made bank on that little spike that I have never made in my life on anything. So I'm a believer in this system now. Not that I wasn't before, but I've seen it. It has affected me personally. And some of the breaks off my thinking when it comes to the publishing house. It really does.
Isn't it amazing when that happens? Isn't it great when you have that opportunity?
It is. I mean, it's life changing because you go along and I mean, with your head, in your mind, in your brain that Bitcoin did what it did and it made billionaires out of people, and you understand that whole dynamic there. I mean, you get it. But when all of a sudden I enter into Bittrex, which I was using at that time, um, I enter in just a piddly little amount. I think it was like 69 SBD, which in my head I'm thinking $60, and the thing comes back. It was $600, $700, $800. I've done it a few times now, and I don't remember which was first. It was a lot of money, and I nearly fainted. I mean, I was like fanning myself because I couldn't wait to get it, the transfers exchanged, and get it loaded on my card just to prove it was real, because it just seemed like this can't be happening, but it did. And so what I'm hoping is that that's the forerunner to all of the things that we're going to have with Steamhouse Publishing over the next few years.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm jumping here. I'm listening, and I'm looking at Coin Market Cap. When you said Bittrex, I was on there. Bittrex has shut down the Ripple wallet because it is now up to $2.69. It is claiming
And
yeah.
here it happens. Well, actually, funny thing about Ripple, the people that were in charge for creating the Ripple blockchain actually have made it a point that they do not want to see their currency heat up. So they will go out of their way and do what they can to stop it if it rises too quickly.
Wow. Sorry, Ryan. I didn't mean to do that. I saw that, and we were talking about crypto going overnight. And while you're saying that, there is a crypto that is shooting up the chart right now, and they're putting the brakes on it because it's shooting up too high.
Well, aren't you glad you bought a little bit of it?
Yes,
Yes,
I
I've got
am.
145 sitting around. So there we go. So I've made well, if it hits $3, I'll have made 200% profit on it. So there you go.
Yeah, and I mean, this never entered my mind before now that I mean, I knew it was possible. I knew this is what they do on Wall Street, and this is how the investor. I understood. And and this is what we were talking about exactly.
Oh, it's exciting. So what is the actual? I understand there's a lot of excitement going on with the publishing house opening. So what are the real expectations goals, and plans for the 2018 year?
I would personally like to see us get at least 3 novels ready to launch. Um, it will take every bit of that year of 2018, I think, to get them completed and ready for publication. Um, I mean, even if we take 6 months to finish writing and editing them, there's still just so much more in the process that you have to go through, getting them run through NetGalley, where they get advanced reviews, that sort of thing. It's not an overnight thing. So basically, I think we're going to have to draw our own roadmap. This is not going to go. There's not really a precedent for what we're doing. There are some hybrid publishing houses, yes, but none of them are based on the blockchain. So we're basically writing the rules as we go and learning what works and learning what doesn't work. And so we're going to be doing some low risk stuff, in the beginning. And I don't mean guaranteed seller books. What I mean is, I would not dare go out and tell the world, we have this new publishing house. You need to come put your book with us because we are going to make you hit the bestseller list. No, probably not. So we're going to not take a big risk on presuming what we're going to be able to do for our authors. We just have to put a few guinea pigs out there and see what happens.
I'm willing to be a guinea pig.
I am too. I mean, yeah, heck yeah. So, and I think a lot of people are, because what do you have to lose? I mean, if it doesn't work, you still own your book. It's a hybrid publishing, so you're not signing away rights to your book forever and forever. We'll have like limitations on it, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever we decide. But and then you can renew at the end of that time, or you can say, hey, I'm just going to self-publish it or whatever. That is that's the way hybrid publishing houses work. So I I think we have some things to try.
So what are the outlets going to be for this? Is this going to be online? Uh, is this going to be bookstores? Am I going to be able to go to a Walden Books? Does Walden Books even still exist? Or a Barnes and Noble and be able to pick one of these up? What's the thought process there?
Well, we're planning right now to use the Amazon platform as far as Create Space and KDP, not KDP Select. For those who understand the difference, we're going to just do the Kindle Direct Publishing, where we still retain the rights to publish on Smashwords or one of the other outlets that distributes. My account distributes my books right now are on Kobo and Nook for Barnes and Noble online for their ebooks. So we have that, but Create Space is print copy, and
It's print on demand, right?
it's exactly. And print on demand is the most beautiful thing anyone ever. You don't have to have an investment saved up to print so many hundreds of copies of your book. If you need one copy, they run one copy. And you pay for that one copy, and what you pay for it is really inexpensive. My Talking to Luke novel, which is a fairly fat novel, it's almost 100,000 words. I can get copies for like $6, and I sell them for $10.99, like locally at stuff. So the price on Amazon is considerably higher. They won't let you sell it lower because they have costs too. And they, when they have the shipping and all of the things when they sell print books. So they usually run $15, $16 on Amazon. But I've sold quite a few print copies through Amazon, not just digital. And the product is very slick. I mean, they look great. The books that Create Space does, just they're bound well, great covers, clarity, the printing quality is very clear. And I've had a few issues, small issues, and the customer support was great. Other people say that they've had problems. I personally have not. So those are one avenue of outlets. The other aspect is the bookstores. Now, if you buy your ISBN, like self-published authors, you don't even have to buy an ISBN. Amazon will give you an ISBN number for any book you self-publish. Is that ISBN numbers are recognizable, and bookstores like Books a Million and Walden Books, if they exist, or whatever, Barnes and Noble book that has an Amazon ISBN. The ISBN numbers must trace back to a publisher of some sort, and even then, there's no guarantee that you're going to get into their catalogs. It's going to take some pretty heavy marketing. We're going to need down the road someone who can approach these people in these bookstores and convince them to carry our product, but we're going to have a track record first. And so that is very doable. We are going to buy our own batch of ISBN numbers. They're affordable. And we're definitely going to go that route, but to expect to be able to just walk in Books a Million, unless you're one of the top 5 publishers or one of their imprints, that's going to be down the road a ways, because there's a lot of legwork to do on that.
So, like, my second novel will be widely distributed.
I certainly hope. I mean, they'll pick up back issues too. If you can get your foot in the door, and it's all numbers, it's all sales. If you go to them and you say, well, I sold 500 copies last year, they're going to say, see ya. If you go to them and say, I sold 100,000 copies of this book last year, they're going to say, hello, would you like a cup of coffee? Come in and sit down and let us have a conversation. So it's all about numbers. If we have a good showing and we have some really serious numbers on any of our books with our imprints, then that's going to increase the chances of getting a bookstore to carry it. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm not going to be the one to lead the charge on the bookstores. We need to find somebody, because I don't know how all of that works.
Well, I don't either, so I can't help you there. But I'm sure that we can find somebody in this teeming ocean of people that's on Steemit and the internet at large. I'm sure we can find somebody to help us out in that regard. Andrew asked what our process will be about deciding what we publish or not. Did you want to talk about that, or is that kind of still sort of a little bit in the air, kind of more subjective type thing?
Oh, it's very much. I was just reading his comment and getting ready to answer as best. It is kind of up in the air because we haven't really formed yet. But I can say some things that are for sure. It's going to be a submissions process. It's not going to be a case of somebody says, oh, I hear they have a publishing house over, with that Steemit group or whatever. I'm going to publish my book through them. No, you're probably not. To be quite honest, we're going to have to, just for the common sense factor, limit our scope to begin with. We're going to have to decide we're even going to bother with. And inside that, we're going to have to, the quality of what we put out there, it cannot be, we just can't afford to put anything out there that is going to get bad rankings for quality. You're going to get bad reviews. I mean, on Amazon, when it goes on Amazon, when you get your first 1 or 2 star review, just go ahead and plan your party. Have a 1-star bandit celebration, because they're coming. They will happen. But what I'm talking about is when you have consistent over and over the same reviews coming, people saying the same things about the quality, your ranking goes down, and that ranking means everything when you're trying to promote.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I mean, BookBub and some of the other big agencies that do the most promotion, they will not touch a book that has less than, I think, a 4 or 4.5 ranking on Amazon.
So, well,
they are serious.
Well, here's my question: do we have any? It's always been about quality, but do we have any particular focuses as far as genres go? I mean, are we looking to specific genres, or can you tell me about that?
In the beginning, I think we need to focus on the popular ones, not these very obscure ones. The thrillers, even the romance, women's fiction. A lot of women readers, and they'll buy those books left and right.
Lobsterotica.
No erotica. No, no,
No,
no.
not erotica. Lobster erotica.
What is it?
Lobster erotica. It's erotica
Oh,
about lobsters.
I remember that conversation. I guess that poor lobster is he is with us no more. But anyway, yeah, probably the most commercial literary. We want some literary, but we need imprints. We need a various structure inside the a structure inside the structure, because you would not want a horror novel going on to the same imprint that young adult would be on. So, we're going to have to decide what those different imprints will be and what they cover, and because the imprints will sort of gain their own little reputation, and you can have several. There's no limit, but I think we will need to come up with some sort of acquisitions process so that when we see a manuscript, when one comes into us or when we find one, we do several passes with it with several different people and then get together and knock heads over it. I think it's basically what it's going to come to.
All right, cool.
And then promotion. That's the other big thing. What sort of thoughts are out there for promoting this?
Well, again, like marketing, as far as getting into the bookstore, I'm not an expert at this. I can talk to you all day long about Elmore Leonard's 10 rules of writing and deep POV and these sorts of things. And I feel like I speak with some authority on those subjects, because I've been in this for a long time, paid my dues. Marketing and promotion, bye-bye. I'll say, no, seriously, there are some baby steps that we're going to take. The first thing we're going to have to do when we get ready to launch is pick a launch date and then approach NetGalley. And NetGalley does charge. So we'll have to, come up with that. It's not totally out of the question, but what NetGalley is it's a review service for the galleys, the pre-publication copies of the book, and they will mail a print copy that says proof on it. They'll, let their approved reviewers download a copy of the book. But what this does is on your launch day, when you launch on Amazon or wherever, you launch with hopefully hundreds of reviews already by legitimate reviewers. NetGalley has a really good reputation, and you can use those quotes from those in your your promotional campaign, and whatever you do, you can rated 5 stars by so and so with NetGalley and whatnot. That's the first step. So that by launch date, then you have a launch party, which is a big social media frou all over Twitter. You just plaster you brand your novel, you put that cover art everywhere. And that's the thing about cover art that a lot of people don't realize is it has to be recognizable at thumbnail size and your title readable at thumbnail size. It's got to pop, because I myself will pass right by a novel that doesn't have cover art that grabs me, and I know better, but that cover art. And so all that's going to come into play when we get to that phase. So after the launch party, you're really going to push the ebook. The print sales will come. That's going to come down. That just may have to lie for a little bit. But the ebook sales will be when you do these big promotions, where like Books Butterfly and e-readers Habit and some of these electronic marketing services, you can buy a package from them where they put your book in a mail out, and they email it to 1 million people. Literally, 1 million people get a thing in their inbox that day that is advertising your book, and they've signed up for it, so it's not spam. I mean, they look for those. They're like, I check my BookBub email every single day, and that's unusual for me because I hate spam in my inbox. But I signed up for BookBub because I want to see what they're promoting. And I mean, people read those emails and they respond and they buy. And the promotions that I did for Talking to Luke are what put me in the top 10 at Amazon in its category when I was running a special for Talking to Luke, was that book promotion. And I got a ton of good reviews from it too. The reviews matter. And So that's the first phase of marketing. I think once we get to that point, we're probably going to be dealing with a different level of money and resources than I had available to me. So we're going to have to start looking at some options at that point, some grander options than I could have afforded. But that's the beauty of having a publishing house.
Now, so as far as cover art goes, and I've been thinking about this. I think I mentioned it a couple of times in the past.
The answer is yes. I will model.
No, but thank you
Oh,
for
oh.
offering, because that was another kind of question a little bit farther down the line. But no, this one was a little bit more specific to the layout of the cover itself. So the author's name, 3 times the size of the book title or 4 times, which is better? I know Stephen King, I think, prefers like 4.5. I don't want to be as ambitious as Stephen King, but your thoughts?
Let's wait until the name is recognizable in every household. Then we will have that conversation. Hell, by that
the entire
point,
cover is just my name. That's it.
We
It's
won't
just
even
black
have
and
a
then my name in
title.
white letters.
That's it. There you go. You're funny.
I try. I do it. The book is shaped like an A. Jesus, that would be impossible to read. That would drive me up the wall.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, that was I've gotten answers to all of my questions, and I think we covered the big things that happened this last couple of weeks. So I'm glad we had a chance to catch up. And again, I'm sorry that we didn't have the show on Tuesday. I'll make a point of it to have it next Tuesday. But is there anything else that you wanted to add? Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, not really, other than, don't apologize. None of us were up to it on Tuesday. We just weren't. So many things had happened, and we were all in a different headspace, just trying to get our balance, and everything. And so at one point I was like, no more radio show. No, 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 no. I can't even do this anymore. And then after a couple of good nights sleep, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, we can do it. So it's something that I've gotten excited about all over again. So I need to set up some time to talk with you, Andre, and run some ideas past and it up.
Well, I am more than happy to listen. I'm always down. You know me. On the bright side, normally podcasts, if they're going to fade out, they fade out within like the first, I think, 5 episodes. So we've already gone well beyond that threshold. So we have a successful podcast going, both for State of the Witness and for Fictioneers. So we're on solid ground. We are on solid ground.
Now, speaking of that, is there any thought to actually releasing the shows as a podcast?
Are you talking about like distributing to other outlets aside from posting them on Steam?
Yeah, with the publishing house, perhaps have the discussion released as a podcast that could get out to people on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever, and possibly work that way.
We could do that. Actually, that would be a really interesting idea to have as a companion to the publishing house. Aside from press releases, we could have, weekly or hell, even monthly radio shows, just kind of summarizing what's been going on and what directions we're planning on taking, upcoming stuff, that sort of thing.
It is just really scary. When we're on top of our game, it is just alarming how the minds work alike. This is what I was going to talk to you about.
And here we are. We are Borg.
And for full disclosure, I had no idea this was.
No, you didn't. I mean, and yeah, that's exactly a big part of it. I mean, there's some other details, but okay. Well, now you know what I want to talk to you about. So
sweet. Well, I will make time as soon as we're off the air. We can go ahead and move on over to DM, or we can keep talking in voice chat, or however you want to do it. I'm up for either. I think we can call it on tonight's show, though. What do you think, Shane?
Yeah, we're entering our 3rd hour, so
yeah.
I've got to run up and Asari has been sick, so I've got to run up and get some medicine for her.
I killed it.
No, you didn't kill anything. you've actually got us so excited that we got to get off and start doing some
Doing
stuff.
other things, I know.
Doing stuff off the air to make things go forward.
If you know what I mean.
Hubba hubba.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, is there anything you want to close the show with, Shane?
No. I want to thank everyone for listening. Everyone here, I believe, votes our witness, and we do appreciate it. If you don't, Swelker 101, Anarcho Andre, Crimson Clad. Well, no, it's not Crimson. It's Follow BTC News. Yeah, we definitely would appreciate it if you would. Besides that, I want to thank everyone for listening. I actually enjoy doing this show each week. It's one of the highlights of the end of my work week. I get home, blow off a little steam on here, and have a good time.
That's right. Same here. Also, if you don't want to bother with the hassle of voting all 30 witness votes yourself, you can select myself or Shane or Crimson Clad under Follow BTC News as proxies, and we'll distribute your votes for you based on our own voting habits. So if you guys trust us, feel free to trust us with your votes, and we'll make sure they go to the right people. Anyway, this has been another episode of the State of the Witness podcast. We'll be back here next week, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Friday. That's our time every week, and we'll get done whenever we get done. But we thank everybody who tuned in to listen. Thank you, Crimson Clad, for being on. Thank you, Rhonda, for coming on and making up for the 2 shows that we didn't have Fictioneers. And we'll catch you all next week. Until then, keep steaming, and you guys have a wonderful evening.
Happy New Year, guys.